What do you say, man? I got this here old international truck behind me. Picked it up at an auction really cheap. Of course, it didn't look like this when I paid 225 bucks for it. It was covered in moss and needed some fiberglass and paint and work done to it. Didn't have a sleeper on it. But anyways, I thought I'd take a risk and buy it. Now I got a dilemma here I'm trying to figure out, so maybe y'all can help me figure it out. I know the engine turns about 2,600 RPMs wide open. So it's governed at 2,600 RPMs. I did a little research on the CM, I think it's 6052-A transmission. Could be wrong there, but I do believe that's the number I looked up. And it's a 5-speed with a 1-to-1 final drive. That means one turn of the input shaft is one turn on the output shaft, so there's no overdrive in that transmission. I did a little Google research and I found out my tires are 42 or 41.9 inches tall, so I'm just going to say 42. I need to know how fast this truck will go down the highway. We need to measure the ratio of the rear end. There is no tag on the rear end that I can find anywhere. So we're going to perform a little test here to find out what the ratio is. So there's two ways you can do this test we're going to do. One is both tires off the ground if it's a posi track, and when you turn one tire, the other's going to turn with it. You'll take your measurements that way. Since this one isn't, I'm going to have one tire on the ground because I'm going to show you what happens when I turn a tire with both tires off the ground. Okay, I've got both tires off the ground. Now, I'm going to turn the driver's side tire and look at the passenger tire. I'm turning the driver's side tire, pushing the top to the rear. You see the passenger side top's going forward. Now I'm going to pull the top forward on this side and it does the opposite. And look at the drive shaft while I'm turning the tires. The tire's turning, drive shaft's not moving because all the power is going through the spider gears in the rear end and out the other side. So let me lower a tire and then we'll perform the test. Okay, you'll see on the yoke down here, I got a red mark and a corresponding red mark on the rear end. On my tire that's off the ground, I've got a red mark and a red mark over here on the leaf spring. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this tire I'm going to turn it 2 revolutions in this case because that's what you're supposed to do if you got to leave one tire on the ground. I'm going to watch the yoke as I spin the tire. Count the revolutions on the yoke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see the red mark way down there on the bottom of that tire. So we'll continue turning. 5. Now this is not going to be a complete revolution. I've lined up my red mark with my frame. Now I've got to find where the red mark is on the dry shaft. The red mark is just about 180 degrees off from the red mark on the differential. Well, there you have it. My ratio is 5.5 or so to 1. We're going to go in the house, get on the gear calculator, and we're going to get an idea how fast this truck will go wide open. Now, just remember when you're doing this test, if you don't have a posi track, leave a tire on the ground and turn the tire 2 revolutions to count the total revolutions of the drive shaft. So the reason why is you're making up for the gear ratio going through the spider gears. So even though it's 2 revolutions of the tire, It's the amount of the dry shaft's turn, so this is 5.5 turns on that dry shaft to one revolution of the tire. Because if both tires on the ground, they'd both be spinning and the spider gears wouldn't be turning. All right, we'll get on the calculator. Go see the bad news. All right, I'm on a gear calculator. It's on a Spicer website. So I'm probably not breaking no rules by filming this. But my gear ratio, I put in 5.38. Tire height, 41.9. That's the total height of a tire. RPMs, maximum RPMs are 2,600 on that truck. And my transmission is 1-to-1. One spin of the input shaft equals one spin of the output shaft. Running wide open as I'm set up now, the truck would do all of 54.79 miles per hour. But let's make a few changes. Let's change the gear ratio. We're going to change it to 3.73, which is pretty common. Now look at my top speed, 79 miles per hour, still using my 1-to-1 ratio transmission. And now let's drop my RPMs down, because no one wants to run wide open all the time. Okay, I've changed my RPMs to 2,200. Now I'm doing 66.86 miles per hour at 2,200 RPMs with 373 gears. It's not embarrassing. Let's bump it up to 2,300. Still below governed RPMs. .9, so basically 70 miles an hour, 2,300 RPMs, 7.28, which I believe is what first gear's ratio is. Let's see how fast that truck goes in first gear. Wide open in first gear, it's going 11 miles per hour. So I'm assuming it's still geared pretty low to get me going with the transmission and the 373. So I'll probably go ahead and find me some 373 gears, and I will later on I can change the transmission out. I think we're good. I hope this video helped you. Please consider subscribing to my page. I got quite a few years of experience working on different things, and I'm just having fun shooting these videos. And I'd just like to say that in my videos, I'm not here to teach you how to do things. I'm showing you how I do things, and I'm leaving safety up to you. I'm assuming you already pretty much skilled as a mechanic. You're not wet behind the ears that way, and you got some common sense as far as safety. So I couldn't give you all this, teach you everything you need to know about safety and do it comfortably. Thanks for watching.